Chapter 13, Soon-to-be boyfriend. Hey B. Stephanie says into the phone. Steph. Hi. Brooke replies from the other line on the phone. Are you home? Yeah. We're back. It was. Can you come over? Stephanie interrupts her. Rude. Brooke drawls in an offended tone. Please? I'll be there in 10. Brooke agrees. Thanks. Stephanie hangs up. She needs to speak to Brooke right now. Not over the phone, face to face, eyeball to eyeball. She has to tell her the crazy shit that happened today. She stands and walks into the kitchen to get herself ice cream from the fridge. With a spoon and tub of ice cream in hand, she walks back to the living room. She sits on the couch she was previously on and picks up the TV remote. Talking to Christopher today was shocking. This is the 4th year of them going to the same school. And the first time talking to him was at a park, not even in school. You're wondering what happened? Well, it was quite awkward talking to him since she vividly remembers kissing him at the party. Thankfully, he didn't or doesn't remember her. Or does he? He remembers talking to Brooke that night, so how could he possibly not remember her? Maybe he doesn't care, and she'd be grateful if it's that. When that Nora girl came, Emily handed the leash to her and joyfully hugged her friend. They walked away together, and Chris had walked over to a woman she assumed was Nora's mother. She had seen that as her opportunity to escape. Not from danger, but from having any more conversation with him. So immediately he went to meet the woman. She walked away with the dog behind her. She has the feeling that if she had waited, he'd come back to continue the non-existent conversation with her. So she left the park with Daisy. She totally left the park grounds, because he could have maybe searched for her. She took Daisy on a walk around, then they headed back to their neighborhood. She returned Daisy to Mrs. Grace and settled down at home to watch TV. Hours later, she's still on the couch binge-watching Game of Thrones. When she guessed that Brooke would be back home, she dialed her number and now, she awaits Brooke's arrival. Some minutes and plenty of spoons of ice cream later, there's a knock at the door. Stephanie hurries to the front door and opens it to reveal Brooke. She pulls her in by the wrist and shuts the door. She hugs Brooke quickly and then pulls her into the living room and makes her sit down beside her. Then she mutes the TV. Okay? What's going on? Brooke asks bemusedly. Hi, Steph grins weirdly. Hey. Brooke hesitates before answering. Stephanie stops grinning. You won't believe what happened today? Stephanie jabbers. What happened? Brooke asks curiously, seeing the look on her face. I spoke to. Stephanie drags unnecessarily, blinking rapidly. Talk, would you? Brooke shakes her slightly. I spoke to Christopher today. She blurts out with her hands on both sides of her face and her eyes wide. It takes a few seconds for Brooke to answer, what? Stephanie nods vehemently. Christopher Hayes? Stephanie nods. From school? Another nod. Green eyes and dark brown hair? Yeah, B. That Christopher, Stephanie emphasizes. Holy shit! How did that happen? Did he remember you? Did he? Different questions spill out of Brooke's mouth all at once. Then Stephanie tells her the events of this morning. After telling Brooke every single detail, Brooke says, This is huge. Stephanie shrugs. Stephanie Valentine? Yeah. Are you stupid? Brooke asks. Of course. I'm not. Stephanie declares. Then why did you run away? Brooke hisses. I didn't run away. I just. Brooke shakes her head and facepalms. He could have dropped on his knees and asked you to be his girlfriend, you know. What? There you go again. You're the crazy one in this relationship, I swear, Stephanie tells her. How did you even think of that? Geez. Stephanie exclaims. Whatever. Brooke waves her off, smiling sheepishly. So he didn't remember you? Brooke questions. No. I don't think so. Stephanie answers truthfully. I don't believe that you know. He remembers speaking to me. Why wouldn't he remember kissing you during the game? Brooke speculates. Maybe he was drunk and doesn't remember the kiss. Stephanie guesses. But he remembers talking to me after that? Stephanie shrugs. That's absurd, Brooke says. Or he just doesn't care. She deadpans. I hope he does. I believe he does. I knew you'd eventually talk to him. Brooke smirks. She scoffs in response. I knew that kiss would change your life. Brooke hollers. No shit, Sherlock. Stephanie replies, sarcasm dripping. She faces the TV, picks up the remote, and turns up the volume. Let's talk about something else. Where did your dad take you guys to? Stephanie changes the subject. Brooke doesn't answer immediately as she thinks. I think Chris is hung up on your kiss, Brooke lilts. Oh, please. Enough of your outrageous thoughts. Didn't I say to change the topic? Stephanie glares at her. Brooke shrugs. Where did your dad take you guys? Oh yeah, that. A grin appears on Brooke's face as she begins to tell Stephanie what she wants to know. Monday. The day students and even teachers dread. Does anybody else find it annoying how long Monday to Friday is? But Friday to Monday, it's a different story. Stephanie's happy on this Monday though. Surprisingly, her parents aren't going to work today. They came back yesterday afternoon. Her mom made her breakfast this morning while her dad gave her a ride to school. She had texted Brooke to not bother picking her up earlier this morning. They're supposed to meet at Brooke's locker. Stephanie hops out of her dad's car and waves to him. Bye, Dad, she says. Bye, sweetie, her dad replies, beaming. Stephanie walks into school smiling and heads for Brooke's locker. She finds Brooke getting her stuff for class. Good morning, B. She grins. Someone's cheery this morning, Brooke states, accessing Stephanie's expression. I guess. She shrugs, but still has a smile on her face. So, who drove you to school? Brooke questions. Stephanie smiles. My soon-to-be boyfriend? Brooke cuts her smirking. What? Stephanie exclaims with wide eyes. What on earth are you talking about? I know your soon-to-be boyfriend drove you to school. Brooke continues smirking. What the heck? I do not have a soon-to-be boyfriend, for crying out loud, Stephanie exclaims exasperatedly. It's at times like this that Stephanie questions Brooke's sanity. You do not. Or do you? Brooke adds, raising her eyebrows suggestively. My dad drove me here, you idiot. Stephanie deadpans, glaring at Brooke. He did? Brooke's eyes widen. Yes, he did. She replies, still glaring. OMG! That hasn't happened in a long time, Brooke states happily. She knows how Stephanie hates that her parents are always busy with work. Yeah. Mom even made breakfast. Steph grins. Wow. I was wishing it would have been your soon-to-be boyfriend. Brooke pouts childishly. If I may ask, who is this so-called soon-to-be boyfriend? Stephanie asks, air quoting. Christopher Hayes, of course. Brooke answers in a duh tone. It's official, you're a psycho, Stephanie announces. I'm not, Brooke argues. You are, and he is not my whatever you call it. Stephanie glowers. He is, and will be your boyfriend eventually. When it comes to anything that involves Chris, you say stupid things. I'd say you have a crush on him if I didn't already know you like Cole. Brooke laughs boisterously. Her eyes glint mischievously when she sees the aforementioned guy walking past them who talking to Jason animatedly. Stephanie! Brooke yells loud enough for everyone in the hallway to hear. Her objective is to gain Chris's attention cause he obviously didn't notice them. Stephanie's eyes widen as everyone around pauses and looks at them. She hates attention. "What the heck, B?" she yells at Brooke. Brooke grins and she sights Chris from her peripheral vision, noticing them. "What is wrong with you?" Stephanie hisses as everyone goes back to their businesses. Brooke shrugs. "I needed to get someone's attention." "Who?" Brooke smirks as Stephanie notices Chris heading towards them. "Brooke Dawson. I'll get you for this," she threatens and turns to walk away, but Brooke pulls her back by holding her wrist. "You're not going anywhere." Stephanie begins to struggle to get out of Brooke's grip. "Let me go," she commands as Chris draws nearer. But Brooke doesn't. Well, too late, Stephanie thinks. "Hey girls," Chris says as he arrives. Chapter 14, A Date? Chris wasn't happy when he couldn't find Hazel on Saturday. He even had to walk around the park hoping to see her, but he didn't. Did she run away? Could she have left to avoid further conversation with him? A girl? Not wanting to have a conversation with him? That's a first. Now it's Monday and he hopes he sees her. He's walking through the hallways with Jason, who is telling him about Piper. "She's pretty, you know," Jason says. "I know," he replies. "Stephanie!" He hears someone yell. "What the fuck?" He and Jason stop their conversation and turn in the direction of the voice like everybody in the hallway is doing. Chris sights a brunette not far away with her back to them. It came from her. Why yell when the person is right in front of you? The name registers and he recognizes the person who yelled. He doesn't realize when his legs start to move towards them. As he suspected, Hazel is standing in front of her. They seem to be arguing and their hands are joined. "Hey girls," he greets them as he reaches them. Hazel stills and Brooke lets go of her hands that she was holding onto. "Hi," Brooke grins as she turns to face him. "Is there a problem?" Chris asks, looking at Hazel, who has a frown on her face. "No. Not at all," Brooke smiles. "I'm Brooke. I don't think I've introduced myself before," she offers her hand. He takes it. "Chris. Who doesn't know you?" she asks rhetorically, laughing lightly. He sighs internally. Of course everyone him as a player. Only heaven knows what Hazel thinks of him and his reputation. Wait, why does he care? She hasn't uttered a word since he came. And this is Stephanie, Brooke tells him even though she knows they've met. "We've met before," he answers bemusedly. Hazel didn't tell Brooke about meeting him? "Hi," he says to Hazel. "Hey, I have to get to class," she says and hurriedly walks off before either of them can utter something in response. Well, that was just awkward. "Is she okay?" Chris asks in concern. "Yeah. I just pissed her off." "Where's Jason?" Chris just notices that Jason isn't beside him. He must have gone to class. "See you around, Brooke." He begins his walk to his first class and sights Hazel looking through a locker. So that's her locker? He thinks about approaching her, but he doesn't think that would be a good idea, so he continues his walk to class. He hopes it isn't because of him that she walked off. Things don't seem to be working out the way he wants it. He enters his first class and notices Ivy sitting in the front row, busy with her phone. Great. The heartbreaker is in his class this morning. Bitch. She walked away. She really did walk away to avoid a conversation with Christopher. If he didn't directly say hi to her, she wouldn't have said anything to him. Brooke just had to make him come over, didn't she? But she walked away. Can you blame her for walking away? We're talking about Christopher Hayes here. They've been in the same school for 3 years now. This year is the 4th and they have never had a conversation before. Get that? They have never spoken to each other before. Not even a simple hi. Well, that was up until last Saturday at the park. She could swear that he didn't even know she existed before then. Now he's suddenly trying to talk to her? After a week of them sharing a kiss in a stupid game of spin the bottle? Why now? What changed? She'd like to know. Could it really be the kiss? Brooke says it is, but she doesn't believe that. As stated before, it's Christopher Hayes we're talking about. He's the subject matter. The protagonist. He probably kisses new lips every night. Better lips. More experienced lips. So no, it can't be because of a kiss that he notices her now. A kiss that originated from playing that stupid game at the party. Stephanie walks to her locker to get ready for class with all those thoughts in her head. And Brooke? She'll get her for this. She heads into her first class and settles in a seat towards the back. Luke walks in and scans the room. He sights Stephanie and walks to her. "Hi Stephanie," Luke says. She looks up and sees Luke standing. "Hi, Luke. How are you?" he questions. "I'm good. You?" "Same," he shrugs. "Someone here?" He gestures to the seat to her right. "No," she replies and watches him take the seat. Is Luke really sitting beside her? Things are really changing around here, she concludes. Though Luke is in the same category as Christopher, it's still different. Why? Well, she approached Luke first at the party because of drunk Cole. And Luke is the polar opposite of Christopher. Luke is not a player as Chris is. That is a very solid reason. Luke isn't cocky, but Chris is. The only thing they have in common is their popularity and good looks. Chris is probably more popular. But there's no denying one fact: Christopher is hotter than Luke. Any girl, scratch that, literally, anybody can see that. Luke is handsome in a kinda dorky way. His looks scream good boy. Christopher's, on the other hand, scream bad boy and model worthy. He's one of those guys that would end up as a model soon. But the most important fact to Stephanie is that she feels comfortable talking to Luke while she doesn't feel that way with Chris. It's lunch break and most students are seated in the cafeteria having lunch. Chris is seated at the table with his friends. He can't stop thinking about what happened in the morning. Why did she run off? Is it really because she was pissed off? Or because of him? They were in the same class for third period and he saw her. Before he could decide whether to approach her or not, she was out of sight. He looks around the cafeteria and sights Hazel and Brooke at a table. This is the first time he's seeing her in here. He turns around to continue his food and listen to the conversation going on. "I feel sorry for Luke, you know," Max says. Max isn't exactly like them, but he's friends with Chris and Jason. Max doesn't like to party. He has gone to a few parties in the past, then he got tired of them, and both Chris and Jason respect his decision. Jason laughs. "Me too. He's dating Ivy, that spawn of Satan. Everyone feels sorry for him, bro," Jason adds. "Everyone keeps wondering why such a nice guy is dating the mean bitch, who is also a bully," Jason continues. "But Luke doesn't know that she is," Max states. "Yeah, he's fucking oblivious," Jason points out, shaking his head. "Yikes. Aha. He's really dumb." "He's not dumb," Chris can't help but say, defending Luke. "If he isn't, why hasn't he noticed, huh?" "It's because the bitch is a good actress," Chris tells them. "I dated her, remember?" Yeah. I keep forgetting that," Jason and Max say at the same time. They know Chris doesn't like talking about it. Talking about the time he dated Ivy gets him angry. Chris doesn't know why he defended Luke. It's not that he did a bad thing, he just spoke the truth. Ivy is like that. That's what she is, an actress. She was cheating on him yet still pretended to love him until he found out. She didn't even care that he did. Though Ivy's dating Luke, Chris doesn't loathe him. He just feels sorry that Luke is in Ivy's trap. If Ivy isn't Luke's girlfriend, they'd probably be friends. Maybe they would be friends eventually when he isn't dating Ivy anymore. Chris looks in the direction of Hazel's table and finds her smiling at whatever Brooke's telling her. Then she throws her head back in laughter. He feels entranced as he watches her for a minute, until a name draws his attention. What did Brooke do? He asks them with curiosity. He just heard her name from them. You know Cole, right? Max asks. Of course he does, he's Luke's best friend. Chris nods. Well, people think he might be dating Brooke, Jason answers. Brooke Dawson? Yeah. Whoa! I expected him to date Aspen, Chris cringes. Obviously, he isn't buying their act like his best friend is, Max sniggers. That's good for him, Chris comments. Stephanie and Brooke are heading out of school toward the parking lot when someone calls out Brooke's name. They both stop and turn around to see a smiling Cole walking towards them. Payback time, Stephanie decides in her head as she puts on a smile of her own. Hi, Cole beams. Hey, Stephanie answers first. Hey, Brooke says a little timidly. You came at the right time. Brooke was just talking about you, Stephanie tells Cole as a smirk makes its way to her face. What? Brooke exclaims, turning to face Stephanie so fast that it's a surprise she didn't get whiplash. Stephanie smirks mischievously. I was not, Brooke denies. You so were. You were going on and on about him that I was starting to get bored, Stephanie continues to taunt her. I wasn't. Don't listen to her, Cole. Brooke says, looking flustered. Cole, who has been watching, has an amused look on his face. Believe me, I'm telling the truth, Stephanie rolls her eyes. I'm flattered to know I'm a subject for discussion between you two, Cole chuckles and raises his right hand to his heart dramatically. Don't be, Brooke manages to huff in her flustered state. Cole laughs lightly and Stephanie joins him. Brooke glares at her. So, Cole begins after his bout of laughter. I was thinking maybe we could hang out sometime? Sure, I guess, Brooke replies, trying not to sound too ecstatic, but Stephanie can see right through her. This Friday or Saturday, yeah? Cole questions, and before Brooke can respond, someone interrupts. What's happening on those days? Luke asks as he joins them. Cole smiles. Brooke, this is Luke, my best friend. Luke, Brooke, he introduces them to each other. Luke offers his hand for a handshake. Oh, you're the Brooke I've been hearing so much about, huh? Stop it, Luke. Cole chides, it's his turn to look flustered. Stephanie wants to burst into laughter while Brooke is trying her best not to blush. Luke laughs lightly. Hey, Stephanie. Hi, she smiles. You two know each other? Brooke and Cole ask in unison. Yeah, Luke answers and Stephanie nods. So Brooke, you in? Cole inquires. Brooke nods, smiling. She doesn't want to embarrass herself if she decides to talk. She has the feeling that would blurt out something stupid. What's happening? Luke asks. Well, Cole and Brooke want to hang out, she does air quotes with both hands, this weekend. Steph feels at ease talking to both guys. Luke smirks, wiggling his brows. Oh, they're going on a date? Cole glares at him and Steph laughs. No, Luke. They're gonna hang out, Steph does air quotes again. Stephanie. It's a date, Luke grins. Ugh. You guys, Brooke groans. You can even tag along, you know. Cole offers. Yeah. You too, Steph. Brooke agrees. Nope. We don't want to ruin your date. Right, Steph? Luke declines. Yup. No, we insist, Brooke says. We could go see a movie, Cole suggests. Okay. If you insist, Luke gives in and everyone looks at Stephanie for her answer. She shrugs. I guess. Chapter 15, Those Bitches. Why did you do that? Brooke asks immediately after they get settled in the car. Do what? Why'd you tell Cole that? Brooke glares at Stephanie. Stephanie shrugs, smirking. I don't know. Just wanted him to know the truth, I guess. Truth? What, you exaggerated, and FYI, nobody asked you for the truth, Brooke tells her gruffly. Stephanie bursts into laughter. Payback is a bitch. He'd think I'm head over heels for him. Brooke whines. Aren't you? Suck it in, Stephanie retorts. Bitch. Stephanie laughs. You described yourself with the perfect word. Brooke narrows her eyes at her but starts smiling after some seconds. Stephanie's laugh is contagious. Then she remembers something and frowns. Why did you run off in the morning? Brooke inquires. Run off? I didn't run off, I had to get to class. Stephanie scoffs. Oh, don't bullshit me, Steph. That's exactly what you did on Saturday. No, it wasn't. I didn't want to talk to him, okay? Steph exclaims. Would you ever want to talk to him, huh? I don't just understand. Stephanie huffs. What don't you understand? Why does he suddenly know I exist? Why is he trying to talk to me? Why? Why, B? We've been in the same school for 3 years, B. 3 years. This is the 4th year. He has never said hi to me. We've never talked to each other before. Why now, B? Can you tell me the answer to that, huh? Stephanie rambles. A lot of people don't know you exist because of the wallflower life you decided to be living, Steph. Chris is one of those people, and he found out about you when you guys kissed during the game. I get it. I still want to remain that way, but why does he want to talk to me? I'm pretty sure he kisses new lips every night. Does he want something more from me? Because if he does, he won't get it. He's wasting his time. I have no idea what he wants, but give it a chance. Get to know him, but if he wants, you know. Steph smiles. Something more. Let him know he can't have it. Sure, B, whatever you say. Now drive, please. Brooke grins and starts the engine. She drives out of the parking lot and heads to Stephanie's house. So, you and Cole, huh? Steph smirks. Brooke tries to hide her goofy smile. What about us? You're going on a date. Stephanie raises an eyebrow. No, we're not. We're just hanging out. You guys are coming, remember? Wait, Tevs. Stephanie flips her off. So you and Luke know each other? Brooke probes. Yeah. The day I bumped into Ivy, he came and that stopped her from killing me. Didn't I tell you? You didn't. Must have skipped my mind. They reach Steph's house and she invites Brooke in. Brooke parks and follows her in. Mom, Dad. I'm home. Stephanie yells once they step into the house. Welcome home, hon. Her mom steps out of the kitchen to hug her. Oh my gosh. Brooke, I haven't seen you in a while. Come here. She hugs her too. Hey, Mrs. Valentine. Brooke smiles. Karen. Call me Karen. How have you been? Brooke answers politely. Where's Dad? Steph asks. He went grocery shopping, hun. Brooke, honey, stay for dinner. Her mom says. Sure. Mrs. Karen, I'd love to. Brooke replies. Let me inform my parents. Sure, do just that. The bell rings for lunch and it's a Tuesday. Brooke and Stephanie leave the class they just had together. Hey, help me hold on to this. Steph gives Brooke her backpack. Why? Where are you going? Brooke asks, but still takes it. I need to use the restroom. I'll meet you at the cafe, okay? Sure. Stephanie hurries in the direction of the girls' restroom. She enters and gets into one of the stalls. She lets out of relief as she uses the toilet. She had the urge to pee during her last class, but decided to wait since it was almost lunch break. She hears footsteps as more than one person enters the restroom. She doesn't make a sound. "You have that guy wrapped around your finger," a voice says. Stephanie recognizes it as Aspen's almost immediately. "You mean Luke?" "Of course, I do. He's like my puppet," a second annoying voice answers. "No other person but Ivy." "Poison Ivy," Stephanie mutters to herself. What Aspen doesn't know is that she's also one of Ivy's puppets. Stephanie shakes her head at that thought. "Lucky you," Aspen sighs. "That's exactly how I had He Who Shall Not Be Mentioned wrapped around my fingers," Ivy says. She refers to Christopher as He Who Shall Not Be Mentioned. It's kind of an abomination to mention his name. "Yeah," her puppet agrees. Stephanie, who continues to listen in the stall, begins to wonder who they're referring to. "Chris is no longer wrapped around your finger though." Aspen speaks again, answering Stephanie's question. She keeps forgetting they ever dated. "No shit." Ivy glares at Aspen just as Stephanie imagines. "You think I don't already know that? And what did I say about mentioning his name?" Ivy chides. "Sorry." There's a pause. "You're lucky. I like a guy that doesn't want to have anything to do with me," Aspen whines. "Ha?" Steph whispers in confusion. "You mean Jason. He'll come around. Don't worry," Ivy tells Aspen in a tone that affirms that she doesn't care. Aspen sighs heavily. "Let's go," Ivy commands, and Stephanie hears their footsteps retreat as they walk out. "Geez. I thought they'd never leave," Steph groans as she comes out of the stall. She washes her hands and heads to the cafeteria. Once in the cafe, she gets a cheeseburger and joins Brooke at their table. "What took you so long?" Brooke asks with a frown. "Well, Poison Ivy and her minion were in the restroom and I had to wait for them to leave." "Those bitches," Brooke says icily and looks at them. "They were talking about how they have guys wrapped around their fingers or whatever," Stephanie says with a scowl. "That's so them." "You know, I don't usually remember that Poison Ivy and Christopher dated," Stephanie states, pursing her lips. "Me too. They're like sworn enemies now." Brooke agrees. "I heard she cheated on him and Christopher really hates cheating." "Nobody likes being cheated on, Steph. But that's their beeswax." "Let's eat," Brooke mutters. They begin to eat. "Have you spoken to him today?" Brooke inclines. "Nope," she replies, knowing who she's referring to. "I thought I told you to give him a chance, Stephanie." "He hasn't tried to talk to me today. If you think I'll approach him first, you're insane." "You're something." "Why thank you," Steph grins. They continue eating and Stephanie notices Brooke looking in a particular direction with this dreamy look in her eyes. She doesn't need anyone to tell her who it is as she follows her gaze. Someone's got it bad. "Keep daydreaming, B, keep daydreaming." "Aspen is so annoying," Jason groans at their table during lunch. "I thought you said she was hot," Max asks bemusedly. "That was before. Weeks ago. She's shown me how psycho she can be. And besides, I didn't say it to her face," Jason specifies, cringing. Christopher chuckles as he's munching on his fries. "I wonder what would happen if I say it to her face." Jason shudders. "What exactly did she do?" Max requests. "She wouldn't give me space, dude. About a week ago, she told me that she likes me and tried to kiss me right on the spot. Apparently, she has liked me for a long and was waiting for me to realize I love her and ask her out. She said she can't stay away any longer, something about this being the last year of high school. Since then, oh my god, she's been obnoxiously hitting on me every second she gets." Jason rambles with a horrid look on his face. "And you're just telling us this?" Mac asks in disbelief and Chris chuckles again. "I didn't think it was serious." And newsflash, I have a girlfriend. But would you be into her if don't already have a girlfriend? Max inquires. Hell no. She's psycho. Ivy too. Max nods. This morning, Aspen was in my first period class. She sees me and sits beside me with a grin. Then she greets me and tells me her lips hurt. Jason discloses. I'm like, how is that any of my business? And she tells me to help her kiss the pain away, Jason continues. Like that's surprising. Chris scoffs with an eye roll. What did you do? Max asks, obviously amused. Mentally, I'm like, what the fuck did she just say? Thankfully, before I could respond or even think of a response, the teacher enters. Jason ends his story. That's crazy, bro. What do you think, Chris? Max comments. Chris shrugs and looks around the room. He spots Hazel with Brooke at their usual table. After a few seconds, he looks away. So Max, any girl in your life that is preferably not crazy? Chris asks to change the topic. He hates talking about or listening to anything that has a connection to Ivy. Max chuckles before answering. Luckily for me, I have no deranged girl hitting on me, but there's this girl I like and she's a junior here. Do we know her? Jason asks. Yeah. She's my neighbor. There's a pause. Oh, that blonde girl that lives in the house next to yours? Yeah. She's cute, Chris comments. Have you asked her out yet? Nope. What's the hold up? Chris asks. We're just going on our first date on Friday, Max explains. Cool. You better treat her right. Chris points a warning finger at him. You know, I'm starting to feel sorry for her future husband with the way she comes onto a guy. Jason reveals, still thinking about Aspen. Chris snaps with a scowl on his face. We're still talking about her? Sorry, dude. And FYI, she comes onto you that way. Not every guy, just you in particular, Max declares. FYI. Seriously? Chris shakes his head, rises to his feet, and walks away. Jason chuckles.